Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Dick. So continuing with my Python tutorial, it's the second video and the last video of the Python. I will be covering the topic like modules and try and catch exception handling, and I will cover here the file handling and the MySQL database, how to connect with MySQL database and how to print the uh, data from your MySQL database with the help of PyMySQL library. So, moving to this part, I'm going to first of all I'm going to define like what are the modules in Python. So for defining module, I have to create a new file. Let it be the Python file. I will create my module.py. So it's a Python file. So I'm just going to create my module, and I'm going to define here as define show function and a simple parameter a over here and printf hello equals to plus a for concatenation, right? So hello equals to plus a. This is a file that I have saved with the name mymodule.py. So how to call this mymodule file in my main1.py? So first of all, I will just here put my import statement that imports my module. Then this is basically the my module is the file name. So I will just going to say my module dot show is a function that is been like I have declared the show function over here. So my module dot show, and in the argument as I'm saying showing you that show function contains an argument uh, with a single argument. So I need to pass here the single argument over here. So my module dot show, if I'm going to run this file, so right click run main one. So here it's been showing me hello equals to John. So in this way, you can just create a module. Basically, modules are used to you can just make module in order to save your time, or you can just there are some common functions that are used inside your project, so you can just create a module and embed this module into your multiple files for reusability, right? So moving to the next part, like if I'm going to just I'm commenting this, if you remember, there are three lines, three double quotes we can use for commenting purpose also. So I have just commented this all, and I'm going to call as per, and I'm declaring one uh, directory. So name equals to John, comma, then we can define here as age equals to 25, comma, and the country equals to USA. So this way we have declared a directory over here, a dictionary over here. So moving to the next part, how I'm going to like call this in my the main one.py file. I will just comment over here, and I can call here as my module dot the dictionary name is per. So per, and I need to print age. So I'm just going to print this, print my dictionary, my module is a file name, and there a per is a dictionary, and in that dictionary I'm going to print a key with age, and its value will be printed. So 25 is the value that has been printed over here. So in this way, you can just call your directory and the key which you want to call, and its value will be printed. So this is the way to call your dictionaries in your modules. And also, if you want to change the name of the module, for example, if import my module, there is a file name, a big file name or a complex file name, you want to rename it into a like something very easy, like I have renamed here as my module as my. So instead of my module, I can write here as my. So this is the way you can just like rename your this modules into another name. So import my module. My module is the module which I have been created, and I can change its name to my. So in this way, you can just use your modules in your Python. You can use it in your project in order to create reusability of your some functions or any other thing. So moving to the next part, this was all about module, and I'm going to create a new file. Let it be, it's the file handling. So the file handling is a file that I have been created. So in this file, we will see how to create a directory, how you can create a file, its append mode, read mode, and write mode, and how you can add the text in your file. And also we will be making a short project in which I will be creating a directory, a dynamic directory, and a file that will be created in that particular directory. And in that particular file, we will be placing a dynamic text over here. So let's start. So in order to create a directory, we need like a package, a module named OS. So first of all, I need to import this module with the help of import OS. So os.mkdir is your function that is going to create a new directory. Let's say we are creating a directory named ABC. So if I'm going to run this, the run, so it is going to create a ABC name directory inside your project folder. So if I want to create any another name directory, so os.mkdir xyz, I'm going to run this. So the xyz file, xyz folder has been created. So directory are basically the folders that is being created. So in this way, you can just create your directory in your Python. So moving to the file part, if you want to create a file, then again, you have to create a variable, then an open function is used in which you have to specify the file name. Let's say it's my file one.txt, and we can like place W over here. W is basically the write mode. We have a two modes over here. One is the W is the write mode, and A is the append mode. So write mode will delete the all the contents of the file, and will place the new content whenever this open function is being called. But if you write here as append, it means that if my file.txt exists in advance, and whatever the text is being written in that particular file, the text which I am going to write here will be appended, will be inserted at last of the my file one.txt. So let's have the example for that. First of all, I'm going to write here as W, and I'm going to just with the help of basically the open function has will be creating a myfile.txt, and it will be in the write mode. Write mode means you can write anything in that. So write, and I can just write here as testing, write into a file, writing to my file.txt. So if I'm going to run this, so a myfile1.txt is being created. So it's writing to myfile.txt, and if I'm going to like change its content as again adding some content in myfile.txt. So if I'm going to run this again, then again it's my file.txt will be updated, again adding some content in my file.txt. So the text which I have written earlier is been erased, and a new text is been written which I have written over here. So this is basically the W mode, the write mode. If I'm going to like place here the append mode, then I have a file, its text is being written. So I'm going to write here as this is the append mode. Text will be added at the end of a file of the file. So if I'm going to run this, so it's been finished, process finished. So my file.txt. So again adding some content in the file, and after that it is being added. This is the append mode, and text will be added at the end of the file. So in this way you can just add. This is the two modes. If you want to update the file with the new content, then you can use here as W mode, the write mode. And if you want that, if you want that the text which is written earlier in the file that also exists and the new text also exists, then you can implement as W mode, A mode, the append mode. Fine. So moving to the next part, I'm going to print the text which is being written over here. So print f dot read. So f dot read. I have just okay. Basically, the append mode is being open. I have to close this mode in order to fetch the read mode. So f dot close the append mode. The file is being closed, and now I'm opening the file again in the read mode, right? So in order to read the text from the file, you have to open the file in read mode. Earlier it was opened in append mode, means there was not any I was not being provided with the permission to read from the file. So I have just closed my the earlier mode, and I have opened the file in my read only mode, and I'm going to now fetch the content of that file in this. So if I have to run this, so adding some content, this is the text mode. So this all the text is being written, because every time I'm going to like we can do here as the W mode, because the text will be again and again when I'm going to run this, it will just insert the few lines every time which I'm going to insert it. So uh, the new file is being created, myfile.txt. It's the text is written over here, then the cursor closes that file, and open will open myfile1.txt in which mode, in the read mode, and the reference is given to f, and print f.read. So while we are just f dot read will fetch all the contents that will be placed in the file, and it will print onto your screen. So in this way you can just handle your file handling. You can just open a file, or you can just close a file, and you can just read from the file, and you can just write to the file in the append mode and in the write mode. So this was all about your read and write operations. So moving to the this file handling, there is a mode which is called as f dot, you can say os dot remove. If you want to delete the file, so os dot remove the file name my file dot txt, my file one dot txt. So my file one dot txt right now exists here. So if I'm going to run this, uh, I need to close the file over here, because I have opened it in the read-only mode. So after closing this, we can run here as os.remove myfile.txt. So myfile.txt has been removed. So if you want to delete the file, you can just call this function os.remove myfile1.txt. Whichever you will, the file name you will mention over here will be removed from your directory structure. So this was all about your file handling, and now we are going to make a new project of a short project of a file handling, in which you can have a practice of creating folders and all this. So moving to this part, we can assign here as assignment file handling. So I will just import os, and now I'm going to create like you can say a directory name, what type of project I am like basically creating. I will input the directory name from the user, so enter folder name. So folder name has been created. Whatever the folder you will be presenting, it will be created in dir. It will be coming in the directory name, and with the help of this os.mkdir, I'm going to make this folder mkdir. I will pass the variable name over here. So a dynamic folder has been created. Then I'm going to ask from the user that just input the file name you want to create, enter file name you want to create. So file name has been entered over here. So what I need is I need to save this file, whichever the file is made by the user. I want to save this file in this directory name. So to create a file, we need f equals to open. Basically, whatever the name it is there, I can just take a variable f, it's open. We need a file to be stored in directory name. So directory name, I can use plus for concatenation, slash, then plus, and then the file name, whatever the file name. So basically what it is doing is, I can just specify the write mode. What it is doing is that it will create a file name which user will enter in a folder with the named directory name. For example, a person has entered the folder PQR. So PQR directory has been made, and then the person has entered the file name. So that file name is suppose ABC. It's aman.txt, right? So PQR was a directory name, PQR slash aman.txt. Basically, the PQR is a folder name. So in that folder name, aman.txt file will be created. Now I'm going to like I will ask the user to input some text. So enter some text to place inside your file. So the text will be entered, and I'm going to now write that text in your this file name. So to write that text, I will just add here as f dot write, and dynamic the text will be created, right? So I'm going to run this file. Let's see what happens. So enter folder name. PQR is a folder name. So enter file name you want to create. I will create as aman.txt and enter the text. So this is my text that will be placed inside my file aman.txt. So enter. So here the PQR folder has been created, and in that PQR folder aman.txt file has been created, and in aman.txt file a text is been placed. So this was all about the file handling. I have created a simple project that will that takes inputs from the user, that takes input of name of directory name from the user, then file name, and then basically it takes the input of text, and that all folder name, file name is being created dynamically, and the text is inserted in that dynamic file. So this was all about file handling in Python. So moving to the next part, the next part is the exceptional handling. So moving to the exception handling, we are going to what are basically the exceptional handling. So exceptional handling is a way to tackle with your errors. Uh, you can just if your program encounters with some error, and if you are not going to implement the exception handling in your program or in your project, the program can ended it will be ended in a uh, an unfavorable manner, or in the program will exit. Fine. So if the program will exit, it will not leave a good impression on the user. So in order to handle the errors, we need to implement exception handling in our projects, in our modules, so that if some errors occurs, a proper mechanism should be available, or a proper mechanism should exist to handle that such kind of errors. So In order to use exception handling, we are going to present, I will just make you understand with the help of some example. So import sys, sys is basically your module that has been I have imported because I need to call the function sys execute info that is being presented in your sys module. I'm going to write this. So I'm creating a list with the, let it be a, and then 0 and 2. For now I'm going to like create a loop from entry in rl. So here I'm going to create the try. So print the entry is the entry, and now I'm going to divide every entry with my list variable, and if some error occurs, then I can just here put uh, error occurred, comma, so sys start execute info, then error occurred. I can just write here as I have written error occurred in the like, earlier also error occurred, so I don't need to write it again. So print moving next entry. I will explain you like how it is being like implemented, and for this I need to write this here as print the reciprocal of entry is R, right? So I'm going to run this. So first of all, the value is in the list I have written A. So then it's 0 and then it's 2. So for entry in RL, so RL one by one, every each value of RL will be coming in entry. So starting with the first part, it's A. So the entry is A, the entry is A. So 1 divided by A, natural, it's 1, anything divided by string is an error. So in the first case, the error occurred. So when I have written this in the try statement, so whenever the error occur in this block, it will always be moving to except block. So this is a rule of try exception, that if any error is occurred in the try block, the statement will move to the exception block. So it's giving me the error occurred. The error detail is basically execute info is going to tell you the type of error which is being occurred. So value error, and after value error, it is moving to the next entry, and a space is being printed, and again the for loop will be executed. So here the if error occurs, the loop is not going to break. Basically it is going to just like the accept part, and whatever the information you want to print in the front of the user, you can print over here, and you can move, then the program will move to the next entry. So next entry is 0. So again, anything divided by 0 is error. So the entry is 0 and error occurred. What type of error it is? It is the 0 division error, and again it's moving to the next entry. So again it's moving to the next part. So entry next is the 2. So 1 divided by 2. So the entry is 2 and the reciprocal of 2 is 0 0.5. So here the answer, so here in the third part, like no error has been occurred, so it will just break over here, and the print, it will be printing the reciprocal of entry is this one. So basically, try exception handling is used to tackle the error. Like if any error occurs, how your program will behave, how your program will work. That is basically is important in error handling, right? So this was a basic program of the exception handling. Moving to the next program, I can just like put a comment over here, or I can create a new file. So it will be a better for uh, understandability. So moving to the next part, we can also raise exception manually with the help of raise keyword, because here it is automatically raised. Like because we have written here as try and accept block, and if the error occurs, it is automatically the exception handling block is called. So if you want to raise the custom errors, like I want that if any error occurs, I should raise an exception. So for that, I am writing a program. I am going to use as try. Let's make a program with input. Like I can just say enter a positive number. So a number is being entered. So a equals to input, and so a number will be entered over here. So if I'm going to write here as if a is less than equals to 0, then raise a value error. So this is not a positive number. So raise is an inbuilt keyword that is going to raise an exception. So then I'm going to write here as accept value error as v, and I can just print here as v. So let's run this. So enter a positive number, it's 10. Like nothing is being printed because it's a positive number. If I'm going to write here as minus 10, so that is not a positive number. Why? Because it's input enter a positive number if a, like this is my now custom error exception, that if a is less than equals to 0, then I'm going to raise a value error, and whatever the message I need to pass over here. So in the value error, accept the value error as v. So whatever the string I need to pass, it will be coming in v, and I'm going to print here as v. So if the exception erases, like if user enters the value not in positive, in negative, then the exception is being caught. So in this way, you can like raise your custom errors with the help of raise function, right? So you can just you can just click over here, and you can also check its details also. So moving to the next part, one more program I need to tell you, that is basically if you want that else statement to be printed in your this exception handling, like if the number is true, or if your condition satisfied, then like the main conditions run, then the exception is run, and if there is not any error, then its else part is run. So how you can deal with else statement in your exception handling? For that, I'm making a simple program. So int, its input, enter a number. So the number will be added, and the assert function I'm using, its number modulus 2 double equals to, if it is 0, then if it is not, then print that it's not an even number. And in the except, I'm going to write here as else part, the else part, and write reciprocal is 1 divided by number, and print REC. So this is my short program in which I have been demonstrated that how to use else statement in your except part. So run except 2. So if I'm going to write here as 20, so 0.05, it has been divided and reciprocal has been placed, and I have print the reciprocal. And if I am going to enter a non-even value, suppose 21, so here it's number modulus 2. So here it is it's not an even number, so exception is raised, and here it will be printing as not an even number. So if I'm going to enter here as even number, so it is going to skip this exception part and it will be coming in the else part, because there is not an exception if even number is inputted by the user, input by the user. So exception will not be handled, then its else part is being executed, and in else part uh, the final answer will be displayed. So this was all about your exception handling with else statement, right? And in the last there is also a block named finally. So finally, a block will always be ex will always will be executed. I'm going to write here only now. Always will be executed. So if I'm going to run this, if I'm going to enter a odd number, so not an even number, and the finally in the last it is being executed if any exception occurs. And if the exception does not occurs, then still, because now exception is not there, the else part has been printed, and still the finally block will also be printed. So regardless your program contains an error or your program does not contains any error, your finally block is going to be executed. So this was all about exception handling in Python. So this was all about exception handling, and this was all about the video. So in the next video, I'm going to tell you about Python with MySQL database, how to insert, select your data in like how to insert your data in MySQL database with the help of MySQL library in Python, how you can select, how you can delete, update, these all operations I will be performing in my next video. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my, go and hit the subscribe button and get subscription to my channel, and do click on the notification bell icon also in order to get all the latest updates of programming knowledge tutorials. So thanks for watching my video and have a good day.